Hello, everybody, and look at the camera here. We've got a live video, so yeah, just wanted to come and say hello, do a bit of a live video. I haven't done a current video for a while. If you've been keeping up to date with the channel, I've been re-uploading Series 1, which was previously on another channel, but that's on our channel now. That's here, and the whole thing's on there. So um, Bandit O'Clock Series 1 is there. So if you want to check that out, you can see sort of how the videos and the project got started. And then Series 2 is there and complete. And we've even got Series 3 as well for the Bandit. We just finished it off, got it painted and ready to go for summer. So we've got the GSX-R videos as well. It's GSX-R O'Clock because we're not great at thinking up names. And yeah, we've got some random other videos. We've got Turbo GSX 1100 video and some Cadwell videos and bits and bobs like that. So there's plenty to check out on the channel. But obviously, the thing that most people have been asking about is the turbo bike, which is just in the background there. And as you can see, it's just kind of sitting in the corner a little bit sorry for itself. So I've been doing lots of planning. I've been quite busy the last sort of month or so, and I've got everything planned and ready to go. I've got to order a load of stuff, and obviously I've got a list, and on that list sometimes there's like 2 items or 2 options. So it's just trying to weigh up the different items on the list. Do I go for number 1? Do I go for number 2? Do I buy both and send one back, or do I just get both just in case and stuff like that? So, but yeah, we're going to do a dyno video. Is going to be the next one. I'm going to take it to BSD in Peterborough, just see how much power it's got, see what the air fuel ratio is like, and just sort of see the starting point of the project, see how much power it is, because that's all everyone's ever interested in. Doesn't really matter to me, you know, the actual numbers, but it's always good to have a reference and a sort of a starting point, really. So for the turbo project, a very good friend of mine has given me a present, which is nice of him. And as long as I don't get covered in it, I have a very nice, I don't know if you can see that, I've got a light on in front of me, a very nice boost gauge. It's actually glycerin filled one. You might be able to see the gloopy stuff in there. Yeah, so it's actually a really, really good boost gauge. You can get ones that don't have glycerin in. Been doing my research, but sometimes the needles can be a bit off or don't read very well. But the glycerin ones tend to read really good. So that's a really cool thing. It is pretty big, so I'm going to have to try and find somewhere to put it on the bike. I'm not worried about hiding it and stuff, but just want to make it, you know, not look like it's thrown together, really. And I've also got this shiny piece. So this is a lock-up clutch. Now, basically, when you turbo a Bandit, obviously you sort of can pretty well double the horsepower, if not more. And you can get clutch slip. But with this device, you bolt it onto the clutch, and then these arms fling out, and it's a bit like a centrifugal clutch on a moped. And you can weight the arms differently. So you can have these ones fling out at 1 RPM and these ones fling out at another RPM. And basically what it does is stops the clutch from slipping with all the extra power, because they can't always keep up with it. So yeah, something interesting. It's pretty cool that a friend sorted out for me. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, it'll be going on the bike. To fit it on the bike, I need an adapter where the clutch cover goes, because this obviously sticks out a bit further than the standard one. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'd just like to say thank you for all the likes and comments we keep getting. We've got some new guys. We've got James who's watching. He's just found the channel today, which is really, really cool. And we've always got new people finding the channel and stuff. So thank you for sharing. thank you for giving us thumbs up and comments. It really does help the channel when you comment, even if it's just a hello, or you're doing good work, or you're a load of rubbish. It all helps. So yeah, thank you for that, guys. And you know, we've got 1,700 subscribers now, which I think's absolutely incredible. You know, we started with 0, and yeah, you know, we've got all you guys watching. And I was chatting to a friend about it the other day, and I just sort of kind of mind blown, really, how many people find it all interesting. So, you know, thanks to you guys for sort of listening to me ramble on, really. So, one more thing, with like projects and bits and bobs, as you can, if you've seen any of the video, start again, I'm rambling. If you've seen the videos on the channel, you'll see I've got my TIG welder, which I've now got on the shelf just there. And I want to do some sort of projects with a TIG welder, which will help me with the turbo bike, because I've got to weld all the pipe work and bits and bobs up like that. So that's all going to take some practice and learning and stuff like that. So right, so one thing I've got here, I don't know, is a welding table, just so I've got somewhere to actually, you know, build the headers and build bits and bobs and weld things. I've got a dedicated table for that. It should make my life a bit easier. So I've drawn it all up. I've worked out how much metal I need. Just need to get that ordered and put it together. So I've also got a welding cart, but I'm not sure if I'm going to actually bother with that, because I've got the welder on the shelf. So there we go. Right, so that's sort of the updates with those bits. I've got a new project. Obviously, ClassicMotorbikes.net's a website as well as a YouTube channel. So if you ever get 5 minutes or you're a bit bored, there's plenty of stories and articles and stuff on there. And the website's been going for absolutely ages. So there's loads of content on there if you ever get bored on your lunch break and you've caught up with all the videos. One of the guys that runs the website and writes some of the articles, he's got a RD 350LC that's coming his way. And that is actually going to be a project I'm going to do on the YouTube channel. So the thing's got 50 odd thousand miles. Sorry, I keep moving around. Yeah, so it's got 50 odd thousand miles. The engine's been blown up and it's been sat in a shed for about 15 years. So it's a little bit sorry for itself, but we're going to do it up, get it running and get it on the road. There is a video where Scotty's talking all about it and shows you around the bike. And he was saying, you know, we're not going to really do a concourse restoration. We're not going to make it like new or better than new. We're just going to sort of make it a nice, usable bike that you're not afraid to get out on and ride around on. And for me, when it's all done and all finished, it'll be quite a good experience, really, because I've never had a go on a big two-stroke. I've had a go on like a 250 motocross bike that I was running in for someone. But yeah, I've never had a go on like a big two-stroke road bike, so I do feel like I've been missing out a little bit. And yeah, be good to finally have a go on one. So I'm really looking forward to that project. I'm probably going to get the turbo bike out the way, or pretty well get the turbo bike finished before we start on that. So I imagine that'll be a project for the new year. So we've got plenty of content on its way. So right, I've noticed you guys have been commenting, so thank you very much for that. They always disappear after a live feed. I'm not sure why. It's something to do with YouTube. So yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll do sort of like an ask me anything, any questions you've got about the projects or me or what I do or just anything really. Feel free to ask them. I don't have to answer them. But yeah, feel free to ask the questions. I've got one down here from Random Rides, Rob, but I've seen you've commented already, so we'll go through that. And yeah, so if you've got those questions, start commenting and then I'll work my way through them. So bear with me. Technology time. Got to swipe it, touch it. There we go. Right. So here we go. James Biddle, looking forward to the turbo. Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. And I've had so many comments about it. It's really good. You know how well received it's been. So Adam, hello Adam, how's it going? Good to see you here. You're obviously a long time watcher and we really do appreciate it, and it's always nice to get your comments. Nice to have you back on the YouTubes. Looking looking forward to the videos. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a sort of like produced video that isn't from the past a little bit, obviously, with the series ones kind of from a couple of years ago, but it's good to have it all together now. So, and obviously it's like the full progression of the bike from when I got it to where it is now. So it is still sat there. It's a little bit dirty and a little bit grubby where I've been using it. Went to the Ace Cafe on it the other week. So yeah, it's ready for its sort of winter and anything I do with it like that. So right, I will get the comments back up there with me. So random rides, Rob. So I'm still searching for Series 1. I'm still searching Series 1 for shock and fork advice. Yeah, I did say I was going to do that, but I never actually got around to it, unfortunately. It's something that I will do in the future. I'm not a suspension expert by any means, so what I might do is speak to some people I know and see if they'll help me out and sort of ask some questions that I think everyone sort of might want to hear or might want to know, and then we'll probably set the suspension up on the Bandit. I normally set my suspension up on my bikes myself. What I tend to do is just stick everything in the middle. So dampening, compression, rebound, preload on the forks and the rear shock. I tend to stick absolutely everything in the middle. And then obviously you can go up or down from there. So if it's, something's too soft or too hard, you can just, go harder or softer and you're in the middle that way. And, it's probably not the best way to do it. I know you're going to measure static sag and bits and bobs like that. But it's always worked for me fairly well. But, learning how I should do it is probably never a bad idea. So there we go. Right. So random rides, yes. So how's best would you upgrade shock and fork springs for us heavy blokes with heavy pillion passengers? So obviously I read your comment the other day, Rob. I was waiting for this video to sort of reply to you really, because I think it's a bit easier for me to talk you through it as opposed to type it out. I'm no good at typing, that's why I make videos. So yeah, so you were saying how as far as you know, your fork oil and springs, your forks, springs, oil, it's probably in there from new, so it's probably 15 years old, and you've got the basic Bandit shock, which again is probably on there from new. I copied your comment in my handwriting, and my handwriting's terrible, I can't even read it. You found your forks almost bottoming out, as well. Your shock feels like it's doing the same. So obviously if it's 15 years old, I'm not sure how many miles it's done, but even if it's not done a lot of miles, it's kind of, it's old stuff now. So if it's been used a lot, it's done a lot of miles, obviously the springs are going to sort of wear out. There'll be a tolerance for them in the book, and if they're that old, just put in brand new genuine oil and springs in would probably, I wouldn't go as far as transform the bike, but in theory it should handle like when it was new, which some people will argue was rubbish, some people will argue was okay, and some people say it's great. So yeah, just renewing stuff. I mean, even just changing the oil, if that's been in there from new, just replacing the oil would probably make a hell of a difference to the dampening, which is normally when people say a bike's hard or soft, it's actually how quick the dampening works, the compression and the rebound. Okay, just seen 23,000 miles. Yeah, it's done a few miles, but it's not done, a ridiculous amount. But like you say, it's 15 years old. So you say about, can I recommend any upgrades that don't break the bank? I mean, there's plenty of good British companies out there that do springs and fork upgrades and shock rebuilds and stuff. If you've been on Facebook or any forums or anything like that with Bandits, you'll know loads of people do different shock upgrades. They use GSXR ones, Hayabusa ones. Hayabusa ones, they will fit on a Mark 1 Bandit 12 or even a Mark 2, but they really throw out the geometry, I think. Like, really jack the back end up, so you have to put short jog bones on, and then, I'm not an expert on this, but you're sort of throwing the linkages out and stuff. So I imagine the amount the shock's got to work is different. Obviously, a Hayabusa's a fairly heavy bike, it's a fairly big bike, and a lot of the time the spring rate, or the amount of pressure it can take and stuff, is completely wrong. So I mean, if you got a shock that fits and it's roughly the same length as a Bandit shock, I would go to somewhere like Maxton or Nitron and stuff. And I know you say you don't want to break the bank, but suspension isn't the cheapest thing in the world. I could say, yeah, put a Busa shock on, but I don't think it'd actually work that well. You might love it, you might think, oh, this is great, but in reality, I don't think it'd actually be working how it should be or properly. So, getting a shock rebuild with a correct rate spring and things like that. Bill, my dad, who you see in the videos helping me out, he had a shock rebuild on a K4 GSXR. It was a WP shock, and the adjuster for the dampening had actually seized in, and so it was like rock solid, like it wouldn't move. It wasn't actually the spring doing that, it was the oil. The oil wouldn't move, so it wouldn't move up and down. So once he took it there, obviously they had to sort of fit a new needle thing and bits and bobs, and they also put a spring on that was the correct rate for him, because Bill's a bit bigger like me, and it was beautiful. It was really nice to ride, even with me on it, who weighs a bit more. And I think it cost him, like 150 quid, which I don't think was terrible really, and it did transform it. Everything was working well and serviced. I think a lot of people forget that you need to service your suspension. You think about the engine and doing the oil and filter changes and changing the spark plugs and valve clearances and stuff, but they kind of forget about the suspension. Just leave it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So yeah, I mean, I would do some research. Maxton's a big British company, Nitron as well, companies like that, and even smaller companies that just rebuild suspension. They don't necessarily make it themselves, but they service it and repair it and set it up for you. That's going to be your best bet, to be fair. I think shop around, ask a lot of questions. That's always a good idea, and go from there. So yeah, if you do all that, and let us know how you get on, and how much it costs and stuff. So sorry I couldn't find you a real cheap option that won't break the bank, and like a sort of hidden secret as such, but I don't think there really is one with suspension. As you know, on my Bandit, I put the upside down front forks in. I think with the right way up forks, you can actually get a bit of flex in the forks when you're riding it. As you've seen by some of my thumbnails on YouTube, I do wheelie my bike occasionally. I used to enter the quarter mile wheelie competition at Santa Pod from time to time, and you used to get you could feel the flex through the forks. So with the upside down forks, you don't notice that flex so much, which is why I always tend to put those upside down front ends in. So right, sorry, keep picking me nose. Right, let's look back at the comments. So we've got plenty of comments, plenty of people watching. Thank you very much. So many comments. Right, hi Tommy from Dublin, across the seas. Good evening. Hope you're enjoying yourself. So, James is from Dorset. Paul Stevens has said hello. I am based in Peterborough in Cambridgeshire, on the A1. So it's like, I think it's the middle of everywhere really. You're never a million miles away from anywhere. So, Dan Conway. Hey Dan, good to see you back. Looking forward to see how the Turbo project goes. Yep. Everyone loves the Turbo project. I do as well, and it is coming. So, yeah, let us know how you're getting on with yours. I know you put a 1216 kit in, so yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know how you're getting on with that, and if it's made any more power or it feels better or anything. It'd be interesting to know. I've been thinking about that on my Bandit, the Black Bandit, for quite a while. I'm not really sure what to do with it. I'd like a little bit more power out of it, but probably not to the excess of a turbo. That's why I'm turboing a different bike. But yeah, let us know how you've got on. So yes, website, definitely check it out, James. There's loads of info and stuff, and there's all sorts on there. There really is. Tommy, what do the insurance company charge extra for a turbo? I think with insurance and stuff like that, it really depends on who you are, how old you are, how long you've had a license, where you live, you know, stuff like that. Is it a brick built garage, as you can see in the background? Is it a tin shed? You know, just there's so much with insurance. Have you ever had any claims? Anything at all like that, really. It all depends. Everyone's different. A few people I have spoke to is the older you are, and the older the bike is, the less it goes up for turbo bikes, and it's pretty reasonable. I mean, my Black Bandit, I think, is around £130 a year. That's third party fire and theft. I never bother with fully comp, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I mean, if I could keep it under 200 for a turbo bike, I'd be pretty happy with that. So right, let's go back to the comments. John Douglas, hello fella, what's happening with the turbo? I have explained about the turbo. It is on its way, John. Obviously, everyone loves the turbo bike. I've got my list of parts. Sometimes there's 2 options, sometimes there's 3. And I just kind of need to decide which bits to order. So there's going to be a video on the dyno, just show how much power it's got. Go and chat to Mark at BSD, because he's always funny and swears quite a lot and has some interesting stuff to say. So yeah, that'll be the next video. And yeah, and then we'll go from there. We'll actually start pulling the bike apart and actually start doing some turbo things, I guess. So, all right, James, is the standard suspension able to deal with 26 stone? That's what I weigh at the moment. I'm just wondering, seeing as they are older bikes we run. Well, I was 25 stone when I was riding that. I've lost a stone this year. Bit of a random one. I know we talk about bikes and stuff, but I actually play ice hockey. I've got some ice hockey goalie pads and some ice skates. So yeah, I've got back into ice hockey and I've lost a stone so far this year, which I know is not an incredible amount, but I've only been playing once a week for an hour, so I'm kind of happy with that. So right, back to the comments. Yeah, I mean, obviously the suspension, when they, you know, Suzuki makes a bike, you know, there's 2 seats on it. I think they have a person, I know from when I used to be a cherry picker operator many years ago, that a person is 80 kilograms. So 2 people, what's 80 kilograms in stone? I can't remember now. I think it's 10 stone. So if you imagine 2 10-stone people on, it's 20 stone, and then, you know, you can put luggage and stuff like that on as well. So yeah, I mean, they're probably straining at the end of where, you know, what they can probably handle. But then, to be fair, I've not always weighed 25 stone, but the bike handles okay. It goes all right. I know it'd probably be hard to show. No, hang on, let me spin the camera around for just a second. I mean, you know, I know people laugh about chicken strips and stuff, but there's not much of a chicken strip on that. And I weigh 25 stone, and you know, it's a touring tyre, but it looks pretty good. So I think they can handle it. Like I was saying to Random Rides or Rob, you know, getting it set up for your weight. You know, if you think you're going to be at that weight for a while, get it set up. You know, that'll give it its best chance at handling and stuff like that, and you know, it'll feel right for the road and stuff. So, all right, back to the comments. Here we go. Yeah, we've said insurance. Yeah, so what do insurance companies say when they find out a bike's a turbo? So it all depends on what company you use. Some people don't really understand. You know, they literally work in a call center and they just kind of like type it in on the computer. A lot of insurance companies, when I've asked about power increases, not necessarily for a turbo, what they're interested in is how much of a percentage extra power have you given it. So if it's, you know, 100 horsepower and it's now 200 horsepower, is that, would you call that 100% increase in power? You know, you've doubled the horsepower essentially, and then that can scare them off a little bit. You know, I think up to 10 or 15% the computer can handle. Anything over that, they have to speak to underwriters and stuff. There's some companies out there, B Moto, that's fairly local to me. They're really good brokers, and they understand bikes. They're all bikers. The guys that own the company, one of them's got an R7, and he's got all sorts of stuff. And they understand bikes, and a lot of the people that they ride bikes as well, and they kind of understand. So they can get some pretty good quotes, and they understand what they're trying to get covered and stuff, which is handy, really. So, John Newcastle, right? So, random rides, 150 for a rebuild is better than 500 for a Nitron. Yeah, I'll agree. Obviously, you'd have to buy a second-hand shock. I mean, some GSXR shocks, obviously, I'd measure the length, but you can pick them up on eBay for like 40 quid. As long as it's the right sort of length, something like that would probably be a better option than a Nitron. Obviously, Nitrons are very nice, but like you say, they are expensive. But if you're keeping the bike, if you're keeping it for 10 years, it's 50 quid a year. It's 5 quid a month. It's not bad if it's your long-term bike and you're not going to get rid of it. I mean, my Black Bandit, I dread to think if I added up how much I've actually spent on it in the last 3 years, I could probably buy a nice bike. I'm not saying mine's not nice, but you know what I mean? I could buy a fairly new bike that's clean and tidy and works a treat all the time. But, I'm going to keep it forever. I'm not going to sell it. I'll just sort of spend money on it as, I sort of fancy changing things. So I don't sort of worry about, what its resale value is and how much I'll get for it, because I probably won't get rid of it. Or if I ever do, it'll only be because I'm not riding bikes anymore. So I'm going to hold on to that one, he says. So, Paul Stevens just had a 12-16 kit fitted to mine. Oh, good to hear, Paul. What pistons did you go for? I know with the pistons, there's Wiseco and CP and JE and all sorts of stuff. Be interested to know what pistons and stuff you went for, and how have you found it? Have you been riding it? Have you run it in, and have you had it set up and stuff? And sorry, I've got such an itchy nose. Ugh, I think it's the weather changing. Yeah, have you had it dynoed? Is there much of a power increase? I'd love to know your thoughts and how you've got on with it. So yeah, let me know. So, Bumblebee Tuner. I love all the Bandit videos. They have been a massive help with understanding my bike. Keep up the great work and looking forward to the new videos. Thank you, Bumblebee. I appreciate, all the nice comments and stuff. It really does make it worthwhile, especially when, I'm sort of struggling on a video or, a job on the bike, and just, the cool comments I get from you guys. Really do mean a lot, it does help along and stuff. And I think it's cool that we can have such a cool community. As most of you use the internet, you'll know what, trolls are like. And we have had a troll recently on the channel, but, the thing is, don't feed the trolls, and they soon starve and disappear. So, yeah, and I think it's a great, community we've got here, and people asking lots of questions and giving lots of advice. I think it's great. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for that, really. So, right, I just noticed a comment from Richie. Where's that? I'm terrible with this. There we go. So, Richie, how is the TIG work coming along? It's not too bad. Like with a turbo bike, I haven't had loads of time doing some TIG welding, but if I've ever had a sort of spare half an hour or something, I've just fired it up and just practiced on some bits and pieces. Where are they? Hang on, I'll be back in a second. As you can see, this was one long straight piece of metal that I've cut up and then welded back together. But yeah, you can sort of see, there's various degrees of, good welds, bad welds, some atrocious stuff right there in the middle. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it, really, how it's going. Obviously, it's a learning process. There's a couple of, I don't know if it'll focus very well, but there's a couple of alright welds on there that I'm pretty happy with. It's penetrating through to the back and stuff. So yeah, I'm happy with my welding so far. The one thing I really want to do is try some stainless steel, because that'll be the headers for the turbo bike. But I should have some stainless steel pipe work and bits and bobs fairly soon, and then I'll have some spare as well, just to practice before I actually try and make some headers. But I've been practicing on mild steel, And then I'm going to have to make a plenum, and I'm probably going to make that out of aluminium just for weight and stuff, and it's kind of what everyone else seems to do. And you know, I'm not an expert in turboing by any means. I kind of get the concept of it and how it works, and I've looked at other people's designs and asked questions and stuff. So yeah, everyone seems to make them out of aluminium, so I'm going to do the same. So doing the aluminium TIG is going to be interesting. I haven't had a go at that yet. I need to get some filler rod and get some aluminium to practice with, so that should be interesting. But again, I watch loads of YouTube videos. You know, before I go to bed, or you know, if I get a spare 5 minutes or anything like that, I always try and check out some YouTube videos on welding, and you know, see what other projects people are building online and stuff like that. I like my car stuff as well, so I watch a lot of that. And yeah, so yeah, it's been going pretty well. So right, I think there's another comment. It's a JE kit, not set up yet. Got to get the carb set up on a dyno. Awesome. Yeah, let us know how you get on though, Paul. Leave us a comment on a video or something like that. Yeah, keep us updated. I'd love to know, you know, how you get on with it and what sort of power you make and bits. Adam, have you thought about setting up a Patreon, if it's spelled that way? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty of other YouTubers do it. It's not something I've sort of had a look at it and stuff, and I kind of like the idea of it. You know, it's kind of cool because it, you know, it helps with the projects and stuff. But like, you know, I don't really need. I say need. You know, it's all subjective. But like, you know, I wouldn't feel bad about you guys in it, but you know, you've all got your own bikes and your own projects and stuff. You know, and as cool as it'd be, you know, if it was a pound a month or something, you know, it'd be really cool. People helping and supporting and stuff. But you know, I can get by doing what I do. Can't always do it the quickest. You know, like I'd love to just work on bikes all day, or you know, build my own bikes all day. But you can't always do that, can you? You got to have a day job and stuff occasionally. So yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, and you know, I'm not saying I never will or I won't. But yeah, you know, it's an interesting idea. There's a few channels that have done quite well out of it. I watch Bad Obsession Motorsport with Project Binky, where they're building a Mini and putting a four-wheel drive system in and stuff. They do, you know, quite well out of it and that. So, but I mean, I'm only a little channel, you know. I think everyone has ambitions, and it'd be really cool if, you know, I got 100,000 subscribers one day. To be honest with you know, if I never got more than 1,700 subscribers, and it's just you guys that keep, you know, seem to watch and comment every week, like Adam and Random Rides and everyone else, you know, I'd just appreciate you guys watching. I think it's really cool, even if, you know, the channel didn't grow any more than where it is now. It'd be really cool. You guys are interested in Bandits. You know, it's all I seem to do at the minute, but I want to try and do other stuff just so I'm not sort of pigeonholing myself. But it's kind of cool being, you know, the Bandit guy. You know, it's kind of what I do and what you all know me for. So, yeah, wicked. Right, I've been rambling for half an hour now. I can't believe you guys just carry on listening to me for this long, to be honest with you, because I do ramble. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah. Right, so let's have a quick look at the Bandit, shall we? So, there it is. It's looking a bit dirty now. The lighting's not great in the garage, that's why I've got these massive lights on. But yeah, it's looking a bit dirty now. Don't know if you can see that. It looks a bit grim. It does need a clean. And I'm almost a little bit embarrassed by it, how dirty I've let it get. As you know, I've painted it black in tough paint. I'm not impressed with how tough it is, I'm not going to lie. I do kick it occasionally with my boot when I'm getting my foot over. And yeah, as you can see, it doesn't look great. Always looks good on the camera from afar. But yeah, you know, when you start looking at it from different angles and stuff in the real world, it's amazing how bad that's gone, really. I was really happy with how it painted. I mean, from there, let's get that bit out of the back. But from there, it looks okay. But like, you start looking close and, you know, stuff like that, it's not as tough as they say it is. Well, I don't think it is. Yeah, I went to the Ace Cafe the other week. You can probably see. Can you see? It's covered in bugs, bug splats, and it's pretty dirty now. Can't believe some of the bug splats. But yeah, it's kind of there. I've enjoyed riding it. I've done a few miles on it. Not as many as I'd like to. I'd like to do a few more miles on it every year, but that's just kind of, I think everyone would like to ride a bit more if they could. The Turbo Bandit's just sitting there, waiting for some more power and to go on the dyno. If you watched the last video I did on the turbo video, or the turbo bike videos, I was struggling to get it on running on 4 cylinders, but I've actually fixed that problem now. I think I did say in the last live video, possibly. But it's all running pretty good now, so I'll be happy to put it on the dyno. I did take it for a quick rip up and down my friend's farm track, and it seems to be okay. So one little problem I found is, I don't know if you've noticed that there, it is leaking a little bit of oil. And I've had a look underneath, and whoever put the sump plug in last didn't put a crush washer on it. So it is leaking a tiny little bit of oil on the floor, which is annoying, but I'll clean that up and put a copper washer or a crush washer or something like that on there. So there we go. So this could be a new project. My nan's mobility scooter. But yeah, got the camera out because I'm looking at doing some filming. Bill's put his bikes away for winter. He's not going to ride them anymore. The weather's turned, and he doesn't like riding in the wet. Gets them dirty and stuff. So I don't blame him. I'm kind of the same, really. I get to this time of year and you think, oh, it's going to rain, or it might rain, or it's still wet. You know, I just don't enjoy it. So if you don't enjoy doing something, why do it? That's what I think. So right, let me just sit down just a moment. I'll put my little tripod thing there, just so you can see. So I did see a couple of comments. Here we go. Random rides. All the time you waited for a side stand and you're still leaning it against the wall. Yeah. So obviously it's kind of tough, but you see the amount of room we got. Bill likes to try and keep as much room as possible. And obviously if you lean it on the side stand, you can only get it so close to the wall, whereas if you do that, it just leaves so much more room through the middle of the garage. And I don't know if you can see my hockey bags, but they are pretty big, and obviously I'm always dragging them through, and I don't really want to drag them on the bikes and stuff. It's the same with Bill's side. Bill leans them against the wall as well, just so it gives us the most amount of room. I mean, I'm quite lucky having a double garage. Some people don't have this much room to work with, and like I say, I'm pretty lucky to actually be able to use Bill's garage and stuff, and have the room and be able to keep my bikes here and stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, people have got their weird, ways of doing things and stuff. And yeah, after the side stand palaver, which was quite funny, when I went to the Norton bike night, I leant it up against the side of a stately home, I think was the funniest bit like that, and I did get a few looks. So yeah, so awesome, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you got any last couple of comments or questions, give us a shout now, and I'll answer them. But again, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. If you could, give us a thumbs up and a comment on the videos, I bring out, that's awesome. It does help the channel, especially if it's in the first 24 hours. YouTube, the more people interact with it, the more YouTube thinks it's popular, and then there's more chance of views and other people seeing it and stuff, which would be really cool. And again, if you feel like sharing the videos or the channel or anything like that, I really do appreciate it. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have all you guys doing it. Thanks for doing this update video. No problem at all, Adam. Sorry I haven't sort of, been putting one out a week and stuff. The summer's my sort of busiest time for work and that. And as much as, I know there's a million excuses you could come up with, but, you do a long old day, and you get home at 8 o'clock at night and you think, oh, I'm not sure I want to record a video tonight. So I've been doing lots of planning, trying to get as much ready and prepared. So now, the nights are drawing in, it's starting to get dark earlier. I'll have plenty of time in the garage to be working on stuff and having projects, and I'll be back to a video a week. So yeah, so again, thank you guys. I appreciate it, and thank you for bearing with me and stuff. Obviously, you know, we've all got lives, and you know, things happen and things change and stuff like that. So awesome. Yeah, like I say, guys, thank you for the kind words that you've been commenting, and really do appreciate it. So awesome, guys. Right, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening, chill out, and probably get an early night, to be fair, as I'm up early in the morning. So yeah, I'll do me thing. So until next time, we'll see you later.